I would like to discuss about the Aquarian children. So as you may or may not know, we are entering into the Aquarian age. And the Aquarian age began when, you can say, the time Microsoft came out. Okay, so we see it as the mid-1990s. So around the time Microsoft came out was when the Aquarian age began. So we also see the Aquarian age as the end of the Mayan calendar. And the end of the Mayan calendar just simply represents the closure or the beginning process. The beginning process to the closure to the patriarchal the patriarchal age. Now, the Aquarian age represents the zodiac that is going to pioneer us into a matriarchal age. Now, the difference between this matriarchal age and the last matriarchal age, which was around, you can say, 5,500 years ago, okay, up to 12,000 years ago, okay? That's 12,000 to 500 years ago, we started to see a major deconstruction. Or 12,000 to 5,500 years ago, we started to see, in that sort of time, a major deconstruction of the matriarchal lineage. Okay, it didn't happen in a day, it happened throughout a period of time. So 12,000 years ago, we had a matriarchal age. And this matriarchal age is going to be about male and female collaboration. So there is going to be the queen is the queen and the male is her servant. The king is the king and the woman is his slave. We're going to deconstruct that, and it may seem painful, the reform, but just like any major deconstruction, it happens over time. It does not happen in a generation. It doesn't happen in even 7 generations, right? But it only takes 3 generations to really turn the boat around, right? So 3 generations is what it really takes for us to turn that big old cruise boat, turn it around and turn it into a new direction. That's what we're doing. So the Aquarian children are being born right now, right? Mid-1990s, as I was born right when Microsoft basically came out, 1995. Individuals born around that time, and even today, are very much Aquarian child, okay, an Aquarian child. Now, this Aquarian child has a totally different mainframe than the older generations. Now, the older generations, they do have heavy in the system war, right? Especially like my grandmother's generation. There's a lot of war. And even before that, there is a lot of heavy war in the mainframe, okay? For several generations, there's a heavy war in the mainframe, or civil war. There is heavy discrimination. There is heavy conflict. But with the Aquarian child, their mainframe their design is different than these older generations, because they were born when technology came out. So their mainframe is designed to absorb a lot of information. So these young kids can take in a lot of information, and also to organize and to deliver information. And that's what I call, they represent ingenuity. Okay, ingenuity, which is basically about organizing that information, delivering it into creative projects. So innovation, invention. Aquarian children are engineers, okay? They're engineers in not just when we talk about architecture, or they're also engineers of culture. They're old engineers of religion. They're engineers of philosophy. So the Capricorn age after the Aquarian age. Again, we'll be in the Aquarian age for at least 4,000 years. Right? And then we're going to start to see the wheels turn again. The Capricorn age is about major reform in the actual structure. Right? We're going to see a lot of innovation, but we're going to see major change in structure design, such as Capricorn represents structure. So I'm talking about the buildings. Okay, I'm talking about the bridges, roadways. We're really going to start to see major structure change. But in this Aquarian age, we're more so creating maps. We're map makers, we could say. We're map makers. So we take in a lot of information, we can absorb it, we organize it, and we deliver it in the form of innovative ideas. So this is a time for us to really open our mind and to really think outside the way we've been thinking. Okay? Because the way we've been thinking, especially there's such a big gap between my generation, even my mother's generation. We have a completely different design and mainframe. So these Aquarian children, they could say they're bred by the universe to be very innovative. So that's gonna help us to be more resourceful, right? Because of this patriarchal age bleeding into this technology, it's not gonna work. We cannot keep these patriarchal sort of way in the way of relating to ourselves, relating to our environment, relating to other people in the technology age, right? It's not gonna work. And we're already seeing major deconstruction with that. So the technology is a way for us to clean it up, right? We can see in our technology, basically, we need to clean it up. So what we're cleaning up, Aquarius is about, let us clean up the mind. We have to clean up the mind. So Aquarius, if you're going to do anything in this world, I'm talking about materially, like building things in Capricorn age, we're really going to start to see like global mass reform in all of our sort of structural design. But first we have to remake the mind. So right now Aquarius has to do with the mind, right? The Aquarius is all about new ways and new pathways of thinking, right? So Aquarius is about, let me open my mind, let me think beyond the patterns that have been given to me. So we're really going to start to clean up the mind. And when we start to clean up the mind, we are going to actually start to become extremely innovative, extremely talented in our ideas, right? When Aquarius is in the higher vibration of itself, it has very, very much prolific imagination. But these ideas are more so visionary. They can be very futuristic, as we're starting to see this spiritual fiction coming to life. So I feel a lot of our ideas is going to be kind of like spiritual fiction, where it's going to be very imaginative, but it's going to be very visionary, and the way that it could also be like a science to it, right? There's like a science to this imaginative, visionary idea. So that's really what these young people and these older people are. When they clean up that mind, they can really tap into that Aquarian energy, right? and begin to be very prolific in their visionary ideas. So when I mean visionary, there's going to be a lot of movers and shakers that are going to change the game in the way that we think, feel, and believe. So we're already seeing that right now. A lot of these Aquarian children are moving and shaking our way of thinking through channeling ideas, right? Channeling mythologies that were never here in this patriarchal age, or channeling art, like a new style of art, or a new culture of identity, right? We're birthing a new identity for man, a new identity for women. And that's just a part of the Aquarian design. So the challenge of the negative, not the negative, we say the polarity, okay, is the charlatan. So the charlatan has to do with false information, right? If there's going to be information, there's going to be false information. So, but the thing is, Aquarius has so much dignity. Aquarius is actually one of the signs that has so much dignity when it comes to the mind, and how Aquarius deciphers information from, let's say, charlatan to dignified information is not through the old sort of way we would surveillance information based on our belief system, right? Based on what we think is right and wrong. No, Aquarius is not about that. Right? Not about that sort of old doctrinary way of like saint and sinner, good and bad. Aquarius is breaking down that saint, sinner, good and bad sort of dilemma. When it comes to surveillancing information, it has to do with pure psychic intuitive awareness, right? Aquarius is highly, highly psychic, right? So we're going to look at renewable energy. Does this information, we're going to feel it into our center awareness, and we're going to know. Because this age is I know, right? And that doesn't come from I know because of my belief system and where I came from and, my doctrinary sort of, heavy programming. No, it has to do with I know. So this age, we're really deprogramming a lot. And the Aquarian child is going to be continuously deprogramming a lot of what we've been taught, of who we are, what other people are, and it's happening massively on this planet, everywhere. And for a lot of regions on this planet, it's very painful because there's so much resistance, because the patriarchal age is so ingrained and so heavy, right? This king and then woman as slave, right? That's that sort of paradigm. But it's deconstructing because there is no more growth. There is no growth in that paradigm, right? It was a failed experiment. It didn't really work out for us, right? It caused a lot of sort of disharmony in many, many ways. So it was a failed experiment. But the great resistance and the stubbornness is that these Aquarian children, they are going to be, you can say, taking leadership, and they are going to be this old way. Again, it's just going to fade out over time. Give it a couple generations, it's going to fade out, right? These heavy belief systems, they're going to fade out because these Aquarian children, they're going to grow up, right? They have gone through the process of deconstructing their mind of all of this belief, this BS, right? This belief system. And they're really going to teach, because Aquarius is about teaching the mind. So a lot of people are going to be teaching meditation, teaching how to unlock the mind, teaching how to empower the mind, teaching how to let go of the weight in the mind, teaching how to clear up the dead cells in the mind. Right? This Aquarian age is about really cleaning up the mind. So there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of teachers. Right? The Aquarian age, the Aquarian child, is very much a teacher, right? They're a teacher of the mind and how to, again, it's going to be about self-hypnosis. That's a major one, a major sort of, you can say, tool for the Aquarian child or the Aquarian age is self-hypnosis. Now that can be performed in multiple ways, right? It can be performed through, again, direct meditation. It can be even a form of therapy. It can be formed through psychomagnetic adjustment. It can be through, past life regression. It can be through even self-hypnosis, as in forest bathing. All of this is a major tool for how we're really going to heal and repair a lot of these deep buried memories that we all carry. We all carry deep memories of this war, of these conflicts, of aggressions, of trauma. But in order for us to really move forward and to really enter into this new paradigm of Earth, where we can really reinvent, right, ourselves from the very core of ourselves, is we really have to heal, repair our core, right, our core identity, right, because our core identity very much can be like our root chakra. And in that core of ourselves, that root chakra, which also represents the womb, right, the womb of where we were first created, there is a lot of unhealed things, I will say, right, unhealed things. So that's why Aquarius is about really going deep, and that's how we're going to gain our psychic awareness, our sensor awareness, and that's how we're going to be able to know, right? I know, right? I just know. So a lot of, like I said before, there's going to be a lot of indictment going on, because people just they can sniff it out real easy. Like, they can just feel that there's something off, because no more are we looking at appearances. We're looking at the whole psychomagnetic resonance of a person, right? Because the psychomagnetic resonance, you cannot fake that. You cannot present yourself a certain way. Your psychomagnetic resonance it basically is what you are inside, right? So you can't really hide what you are inside. You can make your external look and appear a certain way, but your magnetic resonance, it basically tells it all. It's like a great tell-all book, right? And these Aquarian children, they can see into it, and they're like, nah, this is not it, right? This is not it, because the Aquarian child knows the new paradigm of Earth is what they are here to pioneer. Right? They're not here to pioneer the destruction of Earth, the demise of Earth, the great disease of Earth, the great, we're all gonna die, the great abandonment of Earth. No, they're not here to pioneer that. That comes from the patriarchal age. That way of thinking, oh, we're all gonna die, and that's very weak. It's very mentally weak, and it comes from that patriarchal age. Because we did not honor the earth. And when we do not honor the earth, and we do not honor ourselves, and we do not honor other people, we throw people away, right? We throw ourselves away, we throw our planet away. That is a patriarchal sort of construct that is very, very heavily ingrained and very old, right? I don't really honor the planet, I don't honor myself, I don't honor other people, let's just throw these people away. Right? That's why we have so many stories of genocide and so many stories of a massacre, or just great removal, right? Removal of Native Americans, removal so many ways, right? Because we don't honor ourselves, other people, in the planet. So that sort of way of thinking, oh, the planet's gonna die, and who cares? Everyone's crazy, and let's just go die, right? That is so heavy. Right? That dishonor, so heavy. But the Aquarian child is being given the tool, right? The self-hypnosis tool, to really clean all of that up. All of that root chakra imbalance that we have, right? That imbalance where we feel incapable and unable and too weak to actually make a new choice. Right? We're followers, right? Our root chakra has been bred to be a follower, right? We're following this construct that basically has us dishonor ourselves and other people and this planet, right? So our root chakra has been heavily trained to follow, right? To just to follow. But now the Aquarian children are starting to realize that this isn't really helping us to free our mind, right? This isn't this pattern of way that we follow each other. It's too common. We've been there, we've done that for a very long time in this patriarchal age. And it doesn't help us to be sovereign. It doesn't give us the independence, the sovereignty, the independence we need inside to actually make a new choice, right? So we're wanting to break that, right? We want to make a new choice. We need to make a new choice. And how we make that new choice is we do need to heal, repair, and neutralize all of these sort of deep subconscious, unconscious patterning. And those people who do it and go through it, right, the pain and the grief and the whole deconstruction, the whole reform of it, those individuals are going to be very much teachers, right? We're teaching each other that how to heal, how to repair, and how to basically self-correct our own energy. Because we have to have that. In order to move forward on this planet, we have to have that, right? We cannot ignore that any longer. You know, people in the following, we completely miss the point and we completely avoid the issue, right? Following is like, let me avoid the real issue inside of me, which is I need to make a new choice, right? Need to make a new choice. So with our root chakra, this root chakra is our subconscious, is our unconscious self, right? So they say when you have in the lower body, clearing out the lower body, right? Clearing out the lower body, like clearing out the hips, clearing out the pelvis, clearing out the thighs. It has to do a lot with clearing out the childhood, right? Clearing out the ways, right? We've all been given ways, right? And clearing out that root chakra also has to do with clearing out your experience of the childhood and your experience in the womb. So we're finding a technology, right? This technology may seem external, it may seem like computer is outside of ourselves, but also we have a technology inside of ourselves. And we're now just beginning to tap into that, and we're going to begin to use it. And this technology has nothing to do with medication. It has nothing to do with you need to put something inside of you to get some sort of adjustment. This technology is purely intuitive, psychic, and it is purely visionary, right? This technology we have with the body, mind, spirit sort of energy is purely visionary. That's the technology. But we're learning how to unlock it, and we're learning how to use it, and we're learning how we can delete, just like a computer, we can delete these sort of major beliefs. For some people it's really heavy ingrained, really heavy, and how we can download updates, right? An updated way of looking at ourselves. Because I'm telling you, this Aquarian age, this new paradigm of Earth is going to be very prosperous. Probably I won't see it in my lifetime, right? But we are going to see it. We are going to see more of a prosperous living on this planet Earth, right? And the great challenge, or you could say the adversity with that, is the media does present the opposite. It presents that it still is presenting this patriarchal, we're all going to die kind of stuff. It gives off that sort of vibe. This social media, we talk about, the big sort of distribution of this sort of media. It definitely, it still feels very much dominated by a patriarchal lens. But when we look underneath the surface and when we look into the community, we do see that the community is focusing on prosperity, focusing on sovereignty, focusing on how we can really awaken our inner technology so we can really balance out our energy, because our energy is a little bit off, because we have come through this patriarchal age was so heavy on us that we are a little bit, we're a little bit, this kind of, we're a little bit off for a lot of us. But we do have the technology to basically get back in balance, get back in center, become grounded, put your head on straight. We have that technology within us. And we're going to start to work on it more and more as the age turns and the age turns. And that is what we're mainly going to be teaching in this Aquarian age, right? As the big difference in like this age and like the Piscean age is we are going to start teaching people how to heal and repair and clean up their mind. So I feel like this is the main message about the Aquarian child that I want to express. So when I see prosperity, I'll just mention prosperity. Okay, so prosperity, when we talk about the major sort of what we're going to see, when we're starting to see a real sort of momentum, right, in this new paradigm of Earth, is through the 3 generations. It just takes 3, and we're going to see a major momentum coming on, moving forward. Okay, and that momentum, again, 3 generation, it gives you enough momentum where actually the wind horse, you can just ride it, and you don't even need to it already is fueled up, right? Once you get that horse running, it gains a momentum, it gains a stride. So what these 3 generations now, this Aquarian children are really trying to start, right? Really start the whole, really get that prosperity energy moving within the unconscious, the subconscious, the conscious mind, really getting that prosperity moving within the emotional body, the mental body, the psychological body, the sensual, the sexual body. And basically prosperity is just a current, right? It's a mind wave. It's a current of a happy, healthy, and holy way of living, right? Happy, healthy, holy way of living. And that prosperity is basically a tool that's being used, or it is a person initiating themselves into self-mastery. That's basically what it is, right? Sovereignty, divinity, leadership. That's everything in the essence of prosperity. So many Korean children are really trying to start that up now, but for some people, depending on how heavy, right, their sort of root chakra energy is, it depends on how much they need to really elevate and they need to uplift. But a lot of Korean children are pushing, right? Sometimes to get that to get that stride going, you really have to get into it, right? Because when you're starting a new stride, it's not necessarily easy. So we're being pushed and pressured by the universe to keep going, to keep striding, right? Because we're not used to it. We're not used to striding in this new way, right? We're not used to thinking in this new way, living in this new way, believing in ourselves in a way that doesn't fit into what we've been told. But we're going to keep sort of striding, and eventually we're going to keep striding to the point where the hardship of it, or it feels difficult, or it feels a little bit like shaky, all of that is just going to break off. Literally, it's just going to chisel off. The shaking, like when you really are trying to break through the sound barrier of your life or the glass ceiling of your life, you start to shake. Really, you may even physically shake. Your mind may shake. Your body may shake. You feel totally uncomfortable, totally uncertain. You're starting to shake. That usually is a sign that you are literally breaking through the glass ceiling, the sound barrier of your life. And if you keep going, if you keep striding past the shaking, your actual whole system it will upgrade, it will recalibrate. And once it does, you'll actually have more energy, right? More energy that will be released. And eventually your striding will almost become second nature. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to have, it is second nature, right, for someone to love themselves. It is second nature for someone to be compassionate and to be forgiving. It is second nature for someone to know how to calm themselves down. It's second nature for someone to be, for their nervous system to be strong. It is second nature for someone to be a leader and not a follower. It's second nature for someone to trust themselves and to make and to know how to make a new choice, right? We're trying to make what seemed our way, right, the way of this patriarchal way, we're really trying to reform that. But it really takes strides, and it takes you shaking through it and actually continuing to shake until you actually start to feel the wind horse, right? The wind horse, where it becomes like second nature, where you're not even thinking about it. You're not even like going through your head, oh, I have to affirm this. I have to affirm it, right? Whatever it is you're trying to overcome, or whatever it is that heavy sort of pattern you have, we want it to become second nature for us to choose the new choice over the old choice, right? To make the new choice that comes directly from a innovative, inventive, visionary place within ourselves. We're really wanting that to be our second nature choice, the choice that we make naturally. We want that to be our unconscious choice. Right? A lot of our unconscious choice is fight or flight, right? Fear, because of, where we've been and that kind of stuff. But we want our unconscious choice to be love. But that takes so much strides, right? So much strides, right? So much strides. So many strides. Okay, to have our second nature and our unconscious part of ourselves, our subconscious part of ourselves, to be love, right? To be love. And that's the Aquarian age. That's the new paradigm of Earth that we are really trying to stride for, and we're really trying to create that wind horse. When I say that wind horse, it's like that wind horse of love, that wind horse of knowledge, that wind horse of healing, that wind horse of excellence, right? We're really trying to get that wind horse going within our unconscious or subconscious, and really eliminate and really relinquish this stagnancy that we have in our unconscious and subconscious mind that comes from self-hate, right? Dishonor. We're trying to clear all that out so that we can really free up the energy, so that wind horse can really move through us, so that we can really have that wind horse of inspiration and of sovereignty and divinity and of self-trust and of courage and of strength. Because that is what we really need above all things for the future. We don't need more buildings and all this, more technology. We really don't need that. We can barely handle what we have now. We need the wind horse of inspiration, of empowerment, of strength within the deep subconscious and the deep unconscious, as well as in the human epigenetics and the human, I would say, foundation. We really need that in the human foundation before we can really start to expand upon our technology. Because right now our technology is expanding, but our root chakra is still very much same, right? Same, repeat. Same, but different. So that's what's causing a great disconnect with human and technology, is that our technology is expanding, but then our root chakra is still carrying the same belief systems that are like 7 generations old. That's not going to work. The technology age, we have to expand our root chakra. We have to expand all of our unconscious, subconscious patterning, and we have to clean all of that out, right? We have to update all of that. We have to update the perception, the lens, the perspective of we can say our generations that we come from. We really have to expand our mind. We really have to nourish. We have to expand our mind. We have to invite in higher energy to our mind. And we need higher energy in our mind. Or like a lot of people are having like this mental collapse, right? Emotional collapse. We really need to invite in higher energy into our mind, to our emotions. Because that's what's really going to up-level us and really going to set a new... It's going to set a pathway of higher consciousness. And higher consciousness is very much the wind horse. It is very much prosperity, where you are aware of your choices and you actually have a level of sovereignty to make a new choice according to your higher potential, right? When we think of higher consciousness, we think of a higher potential, right? And actually having the intuition and having the mastery or the psychic awareness to actually make a new choice that isn't bound to a pattern or to a dilemma, but is actually liberated through the amplification of somebody's soul.